I'm not a huge fan of Kevin Samuels. I don't follow him. I don't watch him. I don't know too much about the man. I know he sells a product to the male demographic, the black male demographic, and it's it's a market where he has a lot of market share because there's not a lot of that product being put out there at the moment. His particular product, which is putting men on a pedestal, because it's politically incorrect, right? So he passed away today. I found out. Suddenly, there's no report. Nobody knows what happened. He's 56 years old. No one knows about his health. So we're gonna leave that for a later date. I know Hillary Clinton appeared for the first time in a real outing at the Met Gala this week, which is where basically the rich and famous go and put on some of the most elaborate and expensive cosplay of elitism known to man, to celebrate how better they are than the rest of us and how much better people they are. You had people like Mayor Adams of New York wearing a Stop the Gun Violence tuxedo. I noticed that it was a direct agenda that he's failing at versus the broad problem of crime he's failing at as well. So obviously guns are the agenda instead of crime. That narrows it down. He maybe feels he can tackle that. Maybe he feels it's an easier argument to defend. Whatever the case may be, Hillary Clinton had her first outing in her best Senator Palpatine cape. And another thing that happened this week was documents, right, for the draft of the Supreme Court of the United States were illegally leaked, allegedly, which showed that the end, which shows the prelims to striking down Roe versus Wade, which is a court case that was incorrectly, and this is not my opinion, this is a fact, it was incorrectly decided because it was based on no law. It was decided via political pressure because the Constitution doesn't cover abortion rights. So the only thing that Roe versus Wade does with striking down Roe versus Wade is it gives the power to states. It doesn't make abortions illegal anywhere. What it does is take the power away from the federal government, which was how it used to be. The states had the power. This is the United States of America, not America. We're governed by states, right? We have a federal government, and we have states and cities and schools, etc. And of course, the media is misinforming the people that, it's the end of abortion, that this is wrong. It was the right decision, whether you agree or not. Whatever side you stand on within the abortion debate, it's a fine. I'm sure you have a fine argument, but that is irrelevant to the legal premise of the original decision and what now will be the correction of Roe versus Wade. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. The facts are that it was a bad decision, and states now decide it's not going to it's not going to be permanent until they make the official decision and the official announcement 2 months later, around approximate. They might do it sooner now because of the leak. Right now there's investigations because it was illegal. But what it does is give the power back to the states, and the states decide what they want to do in their state. And places like New York, where you can kill a child up to the crowning of the head, and West Virginia will stay that way. And places like Alabama and Georgia, where they have the heartbeat law, they might stay that way. Was it 15 weeks? Or they might just ban abortion. I have no problem with either one within that state. Of course, I live in New York State. I don't agree with that, with our abortion laws. I think it's inhumane. I think it's evil. You're actually killing a person. I don't disagree. No, that's not my stance on abortion, but late-term abortion. I do not agree with late-term abortion. I think it's murder. It's legal murder. California is testing the waters for infanticide. For those who don't know what infanticide is, it's when you have the baby and later down the road, approximately 2 weeks down the road, after you've given birth to the baby, if you decide you don't want it, then you can have it killed. Real murder. I think personally, anybody that supports late-term abortion should, at the very least, watch how it is performed, because it is a monstrous position to take. And New York has one of the evilest. That's why you can't equate legal and good and evil, right? Because one time slavery was legal, but it wasn't evil. Whereas abortion up to the 10th month, which they was making fun of Donald Trump for when he was in office. They said, "Oh, New York is going to ban up to 10 months." If those of you don't know, a pregnancy often goes past 9 months into the 10th month, right? So abortion after the 10-month mark, it's monstrous. So these three things: Kevin Samuels, Hillary Clinton, and the abortion, is, if you don't see a connection there, there's one common denominator, which is the black and minority community, the black and or minority community, which has the highest rates of abortion, which Kevin Samuels was. And then you got Hillary Clinton, who panders to them for their vote. They're the common denominator. If you can't see the left is mounting an offense because they're going to lose the midterms and probably lose the House and Congress, and on the way to losing the presidency, which in my opinion, I prefer a deadlock. That's my personal political opinion. I prefer Democrat in office, and then the Senate and the House Republican. I have my reasons for that. I can go off that for days. But someone tagged Dr. Umar. I don't agree with anything he says almost. But I think he's slipping, and he should have caught on to this first. Because it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but in all honesty, Democrats killed Puerto Ricans during Maria by hiding supplies in warehouses to get their agenda across. What do you think they'll do to rein in the black vote? In 2015 or 10, was it, in New York City, there were more black babies aborted than born in New York State. So you do the math. Who does this affect the most in 1 week?